first part all right. You're in love with Fleur?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I can understand that. Does Fleur know?
Yes. She doesn't know that I'm telling you, of course. She wouldn't let me. But you've nothing against her. Yet.
No? Then aren't you going to clear out?
At first I intended to. I told Fleur that I would. Well, now it seems that there may be a chance. For me.
Does it back out?
I'd say a faint chance. But while it exists, I shan't give up. Michael, I'm desperate. I'd have to be to do this to you. But there it is. I can't help myself. I will take her from you if I can.
I always say there's nothing to beat friendship.
Oh, yes. Rub it in. But I tell you, when I think of you going home to Fleur, and then think of myself, well, I advise you not to rub it in.
Well, horsewhips are out, aren't they? And since this isn't a Dostoevsky novel, there's no point in going on and on about it. There's no more to be said. Push off.
You realize, of course, that I've probably dished myself by warning you. Still, I haven't bombed without declaring war.
No, it's very decent of you.
You can push my books off onto another publisher. Sorry for being so primitive.
Hello, Michael. You're late. Just been writing a letter to Bart. Lunch tomorrow week, Gurdon Minnow. Alison's coming, but who else do you think?
Nothing jazzy?
No, of course not. It must be someone intriguing. Oh, bother, sometimes I think it isn't worth it.
Don't worry. You'll snare all the right cuckoos.
The Chinese ambassador would be perfect. I'll ask Bart to try for me. Oh, by the way, Father's here for the night. He's got a board meeting tomorrow.
Oh, where is he?
Upstairs. Is there anything wrong, Michael? You look glum.
Yes. Fleur? Wilfred's been telling me.
How do you mean, telling you?
Just that he's in love with you, nothing more. There's nothing more to tell, is there?
No, of course there's nothing more if Wilfred chooses to be so silly.
Chooses? Fleur, it's not quite as simple as that. I know what the poor devil feels like.
Well, I dare say, but what's the good of telling people? That's not going to help him or anybody.
So is that the end of Wilfred?
The end? Well, Michael, I don't know.
Fleur, you know what I'm like about people. If I'm fond of them, I can't suddenly hate them. Freedom's the thing, as far as possible. And a contract's only valid as long as both sides want to keep it. But don't forget, will you? I love you awfully.
Am I likely to? Oh, don't look solemn, Michael. I rely on your cheerfulness. Besides, it doesn't suit the shape of your ears.
Come in. Ah.
Have you got everything you want, darling?
Oh, yes. Most comfortable. Is Michael home yet?
Train's supposed to be very late. I expect he only went so that you and I could have a good old gossip together.
Yes, he's a thoughtful chap. This Labour Party rally he's gone to, or whatever it is, what do you want to waste his time on that for?
Michael's got a social conscience.
There's much good that'll do him. Is he a socialist?
In theory, yes.
This chap he's gone to here, what's his name?
Bradfield.
Yeah. A Bolshevik, they tell me. One of these red demagogues.
No, on the contrary, you're thinking of Bradford. Oh, we've met this one.
Oh.
Grammar School, Oxford Scholarship, and the London School of Economics. A party intellectual. Brilliant, of course, but he's on the wrong tack.
Oh, yeah. What way?
Well, he's dry as a bone himself. No juice. So people to him are ciphers, numbers on a graph. Utopia will come when men and women stop wanting more than their fair share. But that won't wash, will it, Dad?
I doubt it.
Still, Michael will see through him. Michael's got a sense of proportion. And a sense of humour, thank heaven.
That. I've never seen the use of it. You know, my cousin George.
I remember, didn't he come to our wedding?
Yes.
Looked to me as though I wasn't wearing any clothes to speak of.
Yes, well, he's always been considered the wit of the family. I never saw it myself. Well, that's all over now.
Oh?
Yes, he died this evening. His man telephoned me. 2 hours after I left him. He was no age at all. Younger than me, even. Well, he never looked after himself, rackety chap.
Still, if he enjoyed the life he chose, isn't that all that matters?
That's a point of view. No, I'm not criticizing him.
Are you criticising me?
Now, my dear child...
I don't know. I thought it was there somewhere. In your tone.
No, you're quite mistaken. But I might be concerned.
For what?
Your happiness. Well, you've been married for 2 years now. Isn't it about time you started thinking about the future?
You mean children?
No, there's a lot of nonsense talked, of course, but the whole thing's a great deal more simple these days. And I hope you feel that.
Of course, Dad, but there's no hurry.
Oh, I don't know. The French and the royal family have a very sound habit of getting these things over with early. Many a slip. Anyway, it keeps them out of mischief.
I'm not sure I understand.
You're very attractive. I don't want to see you take too much to these gadabout ways. Because you've got all sorts of friends.
Well, I suppose I have.
You and Michael get on all right, don't you?
Yes, of course we do.
Well, then why wait? I mean, after all, you must remember that your son will be what do we call it, a baronet. Hmm?
It mightn't be a son.
Well, that's easily remedied at your age.
Oh, Daddy, I don't want a lot. Well, one perhaps, or two.
You know, I'd almost prefer a daughter. Something like you.
Oh, I don't know. It's such a tie, like digging your own grave.
Well, I wouldn't have put it as high as that.
Well, no man would.
Oh, well, I just thought I'd mention it. I have your happiness at heart.
I know, darling. I'm a selfish pig. I'll think about it. In fact, I have thought about it.
That's all. You've got a good head on your shoulders, and that's a great comfort to me. Good night, my dear.
Good night.
Well, I don't know. I just found it sitting there, stuck between the railings as I was coming in.
Oh, you are a baby, Michael. I believe you bought it.
Not a bit. It obviously fell from heaven and came to rest in South Square.
How did the rally go? Was Bradfield amusing?
Oh, not very. Full of wind, just like this thing, only not nearly so colourful. You know, Fleur, it's hell being in love.
You think so?
I know so. Il y a toujours un qui baise et l'autre qui ne tend que la joue.
That's not true tonight, Michael.
Fleur?
Baze away, my darling.
Yeah, look at the time.
Well, have another slice, Tony. There's a love. We've got plenty of March.
Not for me, Ty, I've had heaps. Besides, you'll make me late for the office. Mustn't keep me secretary waiting.
How can you laugh about it? Oh, here. Let me have that when you come home, love. I'll try and put a stitch in it for you.
Oh, rightio. Here, you want to watch it, though? Can't afford to be too smart, not in my profession.
Tony, you don't have to.
Ah, cheer up, Vic. You going after that job today?
I went. Yesterday.
Oh, well, you didn't say. What happened?
They were full up.
Oh, Lord. What's the matter with this bloody world?
Oh, don't worry, love. It'll be all right.
How well? I'm away.
Tony.
Yeah?
Do you think if you went back to Danby's?
Not a chance.
But if you were to see that Mr. Mont again, I mean, you
No.
said he was a real gent.
No, that job's off. See you later, love. Mind you get something to eat dinner time, eh?
Oh, Tony, here you are. Cheer up.
Cheer up.
And these all down here. No, and the purples along here, just round. Well, Mr. Forsyte, there are the figures. Are you satisfied?
I will agree to this year's dividend on condition that we drop this foreign business in future, lock, stock, and barrel.
Mr. Forsyte's attitude to insist on such a condition does seem to me to savour somewhat of panic. After all, the foreign business is responsible for a good third of our profit this year.
There's nothing in the foreign situation at the moment, Mr. Forsyte, which gives particular cause for alarm. Oh, I admit, we should watch it carefully.
You can't. Well, here we are, 4 years from the armistice, and we know no more now where we stand than we did then. If I'd known the extent to which we were committed to this foreign policy, I wouldn't have come on the board. We must drop it.
Oh, rather an extreme view, and hardly a matter we can decide in a moment.
Very well. Unless you can give me an assurance that you will tell the shareholders in the report that we are dropping this foreign business, you drop me. I must be free to raise the question at the general meeting.
You're holding a pistol to our heads.
I have a responsibility to the shareholders, and I hope I shall do my duty by them.
So have we all, Mr. Forsyte, and I hope we shall all do our duty.
Why not confine the foreign business to the small countries? Their currency is safe enough.
No, we must go back to safety.
Splendid isolation, Forsyte?
Meddling was all very well in wartime, but in peacetime, politics or business, this half-and-half interference is not good enough. We can't control the foreign situation.
I should be glad of a word, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Certainly. This policy was of my initiation, and I think I may claim that it has been of substantial benefit to the society so far.
Agreed.
However, when a member of the board makes so strong a stand against its continuance, I certainly don't press the board to continue. Times are uncertain, and risk is, of course, involved, no matter how conservative our estimates.
That's very handsome of you, Wilderson. Mr. Chairman, I think we can say that's very handsome of our manager. But, gentlemen, this is a very serious point of policy. And as your chairman has said, I don't see how we can decide it in a moment.
If I am to endorse the report, it must be decided today. Well, I've made up my mind. But please yourself.
I can't say I go the whole way with you, Forsyth, but I've had a few thoughts since we met last week. I think there may be dangers ahead. As our manager has just pointed out, some risk is inseparable from our present policy.
You can't conduct business without risk, but with foresight, you can reduce it. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Forsythe?
Compromise seems to me both obvious and desirable. We are on a serious point, I grant you, but our function is to reach decisions.
A compromise, Maude. But what have you in mind?
Forsyth named it. Pay this year's dividend, cut our European commitments, so long as things look unsettled over there.
Ah, very well. Can we agree, gentlemen, that the report shall contain the announcement that we are abandoning all foreign risks during the present continental uncertainty?
Aye.
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 Is there any other business, Elders?
Not as far as I know, but perhaps Mr. Forsythe... Well, in that case, if you'll forgive me, gentlemen, I'll get back to work.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
My dear fellow, you certainly are not one for mincing words.
No, never was. I don't see the point of it. Your friend Elderson puzzles me.
I don't see why. You forced an issue. For once, I was inclined to agree with old dozy, cosy Mothergill. Elderson conceded very handsomely. I never expect him to be exactly biddable.
Precisely. It was out of character.
What is it, Miss Perrin?
There's someone to see you, Mr. Mont.
Oh? Who?
A young lady, a Miss Manueli.
Oh, I've never heard of her. What does she want?
Well, it's about the manuscript of a novel. She says she sent it to you 2 months ago. And not having had an acknowledgement, she thought she'd call in.
We can't have received it. I mean, we acknowledge everything automatically. Do you know anything about it?
Well, there's nothing on our files. I'm sure I'd remember, Mr. Mont.
Yes, I'm sure you would, Miss Perrin. Oh, well, all right. I better see her.
Miss Manueli.
Hello. Come and sit down. Do you smoke?
No, thank you.
What about this manuscript, Miss Manueli, I'm
Not
afraid?
Manueli. The name's Bickett.
Good Lord.
My husband used to work here. I'm sorry about the trick, Mr. Mont, but I didn't think they'd let me see you if I said who I really was.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I'm relieved we haven't lost a priceless manuscript. What can I do for you?
It's about Tony, sir. He often spoke of you. Well, he hasn't got any work, and I wondered if you could find room for him. He just sells balloons on the street now. Well, there's no money in it. I know he's nervy and he gets on wrong with people, but if you could take him
Well, we
back...
couldn't do that, I'm afraid. It's, well, there's no place for him here now. Are you all right again?
Oh, yes, except I can't seem to find work again either.
No, bad luck. I say, you have got a face, haven't you? El Greco was just a touch of the Mona Lisa. Remarkable. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just a dispassionate judgment, Mrs. Bickett. But as far as I'm concerned, you take the golden apple every time. If I can't help your husband, I think I might be able to find work for you.
What kind of work, sir?
Have you ever heard of Aubrey Green?
No?
Well, he's a painter, an old friend of mine. But pretty good. In fact, very good in a decadent sort of way. Would you mind sitting for him?
Sitting?
Well, that's the usual term for it. It's rather silly, since you're just as likely to find yourself standing, kneeling, or lying down for him. I mean posing as an artist model.
Oh, I see. Oh, I don't mind, Mr. Mont. I don't mind what I do to save some money.
Splendid. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll write him a note, and you can take it round to him. But he'll only need to take one look at you, and he'll use you, I promise you.
Oh, there is one thing.
Hmm?
I'd rather my husband didn't know. Well, I mean that I came to see you.
Well, if you don't tell him, Mrs. Pickett, nobody else will. By the way, whereabouts is he?
Gresham Passage, near St. Paul's.
Right. Well, I'll bump into him accidentally. But there's nothing for him here, I'm afraid. Anyway, he couldn't make ends meet in this job, so he told me.
Oh, that was when I was ill, sir.
Well, of course, that does make a difference. There.
Thank you.
Well, good luck, Mrs. Pickett.
Thank you, sir. Thank you ever so.
Bye-bye. Well, some type, eh? Oh, don't frown, Miss Perrin. She didn't touch me for a shilling.
Well, she wasn't an authoress, was she?
Far from it.
Well, I hope she got what she wanted.
Oh, Miss Perrin. You think I'm a fool, don't you?
No, just soft-hearted.
Well, would it surprise you to know that I've done a stroke of business?
Yes, Mr. Mont.
Oh, well, I shan't tell you about it in that case. That girl. Unusual, eh? Good figure, too. She stands up straight. Tell me, Miss Perrin, why do modern girls walk in a curve with their heads poked forward? I mean, they can't all be built like that, surely.
Well, there is a reason, but,
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I ask my wife?
No, it's just that, well, nowadays girls aren't supposed to have... Well, they aren't supposed to have anything behind. And, of course, they have, so they have to sort of pull their chests in order to get the right effect. It's the fashion, you see.
Yes, oh, yes, I see. Well, thanks awfully, Miss Perrin. Bit weird, don't you think?
I don't hold with it myself.
No, quite.
Will you do those letters now?
No, after lunch. I've got to go and see a man.
Very well, Mr. Mont.
Balloon.
Lunchtime.
Lovely. Have a balloon, lady. Come buy a
Paper,
balloon.
paper, lunchtime edition, paper, paper.
Lovely balloons.
Lunchtime edition.
Who buy my
paper,
balloons?
paper.
Pickett, is this your new stunt?
Lunchtime
Mr.
edition,
Mont,
paper,
nice to
paper.
see you again.
Same here. Come and have some lunch.
Oh, really, sir?
Yes, there's a fish place just round the corner.
Oh, well.
Lunchtime
Any money in this?
edition, paper,
How's
paper.
your living?
Lunchtime edition.
Come on, then.
Look after that, will you?
Hello, Butterfield.
Hello, sir.
Are you doing here? This isn't your job.
Oh, well, Fletcher's off sick, sir.
Sick, eh? What's the matter with him?
I've no idea, sir.
Old age and boredom, I shouldn't wonder. Now, where did I leave those papers? There we are. Well, how would you like to spend the rest of your days filling ink pots?
I don't intend to, sir.
Oh, ambitious, eh?
Well, I want to get on.
Oh, don't we all? Let me give you a tip, my boy. Never do other people's work for them. That is the surest way to become a general dog's body. You mark my words.
Did I get it, sir?
Yes, please, Butterfield. Unless, of course, you'd like me to do it for you.
Hello, Butterfield speaking. Yes, he is. Yes, right on, Miss Carter, I'll tell him. It's your secretary, sir. Mr. Smith is waiting for you in the office.
Thank you.
He's on his way down.
That's right. Now then, 2 good soles, grilled to follow, and a bottle of the Chablis. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Dig in, Pickett.
Yes. It's a funny world.
That's a fact. This lot'll cost you £1 at least. Best I can take in a week is 25 bob.
And there you touch a raw spot.
Hey?
I eat my conscience every day.
Oh, no, sir. If you've got the money, spend it. I would. Be happy if you can, I say. Too many what are.
What a performance. If it were corked, you wouldn't serve it, would you? Look, just dish the stuff out. There's a good chap. Your health, Pickett.
And to you, sir. Yeah, but like I was saying, that's where them socialists make an error.
Really?
Yeah. Divide all the money equally, what we all get, eh? £5 a week, not good enough. I'd rather have less with the open more. Take away the gamble and lice of frost. Here's luck.
Almost that persuades me to be a capitalist, Pickett.
No, sir, no. I don't want a world where you can't draw prizes. Yeah, take my wife, for instance. If it were all according to merit, I'd never have got her, see?
Yes, I do see. You have a point.
Of course I have. It's human nature.
Good old human nature. Oh, yes, by the way, if some spare clothes are of any use to you, let me have your address, will you?
Yeah, it's very kind, sir. Yeah, I could do with them. I suppose Mrs. Mont wouldn't have a few old things.
Yes, I expect she would. We'll send them along.
Oh, you're a gent, sir. Straight up. Yeah, how's Mr. Dessert?
All right, I think.
I wish you'd tell him it was an accident. My pitching on his books, I mean. I was sorry after.
Well, isn't it always an accident? Don't we steal other people's goods? I mean, we don't want to. Something makes us do it. Hunger, the needs of those dependent on us, passion. Come on, let me fill your glass. At least today, we'll live a little.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do sit down. Will you sit for anything?
Yes, sir.
Would you mind taking your hat off? Ah. I wonder. Go over to the dais, will you? This is your first shot, then?
Yes, sir.
All the better. Cold?
Bit, sir.
This'll warm you.
What is it?
Gourmanier. Good luck. Cigarette? Take one. You draw it in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where were you born?
Putney, sir.
Oh, that's very interesting. I should have thought somewhere more exotic than Putney.
My father was Italian.
Ah, that explains it. Oh, tell me, Miss...
Manueli, sir. Victorine Manueli.
Are you at large, Miss Manueli? Or have you any other occupation?
Not at the present, sir. I'm married. Nothing else.
I pay 5 shillings for an hour and a half. Does that suit you?
Oh, yes.
Would you sit for the altogether, Miss Manueli?
The altogether what, sir?
In the nude.
Do you mean like that, sir?
Yes.
Would it mean more money, sir?
Yes. Half as much again. More, perhaps. But I don't want you to if you'd rather not. You can think it over and let me know next time.
Thank you, sir.
Righto. Only please don't sir me. By George, when you smile. Can you keep smiling? Well, what makes you smile? Can't you think of anything comic? Well, I suppose you're not in love with your husband, for instance.
Oh, yes.
Well, try that. No, that won't do. Well, never mind. It doesn't matter now. We may discover a way later. Did you ever see L'après-midi d'une faune?
No.
I'm getting an idea. L'après-midi d'une dryade. It'd mean the nude, but you needn't worry about that. It's quite impersonal. Think of art and 5 shillings an hour. Shades of Nijinsky. I'm beginning to see the whole thing.
5 bob an hour for 3 hours. Maybe more. That's 15 bob. At 5 days a week. Why, that's more than 4 quid.
I only came because you promised
I don't know
to
what
be
you're
good.
talking about. I don't know what you expect.
Now, Wilfred, please, let me go.
It can't go on, Fleur.
If only you weren't so, well, so physical.
Yes, I know. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediment. Well, it won't wash, at least not with me.
Well, then, let's talk of something sensible. What have you been writing?
You won't like it.
It's frightfully bitter.
It's frightfully true. Does Michael ever ask if you see me?
Never.
Why?
I don't know.
What would you answer if he did? Yes, that's your attitude, isn't it, Fleur? Well, I tell you, it won't last.
Wilfred, I'm sorry. Truly, I am.
Stay where you are, don't move. He's down there in the street.
Michael? But how could he have known?
You don't know him at all, do you? Do you suppose he'd have come if he thought you were here?
Well, then why should he have come?
Perhaps he wanted to talk to me. He's dithering about. He can't make up his mind. It's all right, don't get the wind up. He won't be allowed in.
Has he seen you?
No. But you realize, don't you, that I only have to open that window and shout Michael, and he'll be up here like a shot.
Wilfred,
Then
please.
you'd really be in the soup, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't I?
Where is he now?
He's going down the street. Shall I call him back? I'm a blackguard, but not quite to that point, worse luck. He's gone.
No, Wilfred. But it is odd, isn't it? I mean, why should he choose today?
You don't suppose he's easy in his mind, do you?
You're sneering at me because I don't love you.
Perhaps. Perhaps a little because you don't love Michael.
You're unjust. I can love. I have. Oh, I wish I'd never come here. And I'll never come again.
A sensible decision.
You think I'm a heartless beast? Well, so I am now. Goodbye.
Balloons! Lovely balloons! Who buy my balloons?
Paper, sir? Thank you, sir.
Balloons, sir. Thanks, you, sir. Here, have a magenta one.
Magenta one?
Balloons! Lovely balloons! Who buy my balloons? Balloons all coloured.
Have I missed a marvellous experience, my tingling? I've just got myself out of a bad scrape. You don't care either way, do you? Oh, Mrs. Mont speaking. Who? Oh, yes, yes, of course I do. I see you, you monster. What? Well, yes, I am expecting my father any minute. Is it? Oh, I see. Well, if it is really important, I'll tell him. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye. They don't know what goes on inside me, do they, Tingling? Hello, Dad. What's happened?
Happened?
I don't know. I just thought from your face.
France has gone into the Ruhr. Pretty kettle of fish. Mark's falling like a stone. All they can talk about at the club is golf.
Oh, by the way, old Mr. Gradman's just telephoned.
No, what did he want?
To come round here. He says it's extremely urgent and confidential, so I said he could, all right?
Yes, I suppose so. Oh, I've bought you a picture. Chinese.
Chinese? But how jolly.
No, it's not. It's a monkey eating fruit.
But that's perfect. Where is it?
In the hall. Oh. There's a funny little chap, this. Always seems to know me.
Two wise ancients together. Oh, Ducky, it's a masterpiece. Frightfully good period, shouldn't you think?
I don't know. I shall have to look up the Chinese.
But I don't think you ought to give it to me. It must be worth any amount.
I prefer you to have it.
It ought to be in your collection.
It'll be safer here.
Well, of course it'll be safe.
Mr. Green, my...
Aubrey, how nice.
Ah, that's what I've come about.
Tina, stop it. We'll lick the copper, Aubrey.
Oh, but how perfectly Chinese. They do everything we don't.
Dad, this is Aubrey Green, the painter.
How do you do?
Yes, how do you do?
By Jove. Well, where did you get this fleur?
It belonged to a cousin of mine, a racing chap. Died the other day. I bought it out of the estate. 300 guineas.
Is that all?
Yes. It was the only picture he had, really.
Oh, good for him. He must have had taste.
No, no. What he liked about it was it made him feel uncomfortable.
Same thing. Oh, isn't it terrific, Fleur? I don't know where I've seen a more pungent satire on human life.
I don't follow you.
Well, the perfect allegory, sir. Don't you agree, Fleur? Eat the fruits of life, scatter the rinds, and get caught doing it.
I think that describes it beautifully.
Allegory? All I can see is a flawless technique. That's enough for me.
It's not enough. Forgive, sir, but I can't agree. A painter has to communicate just as much as a writer or a composer. And monkeys. Have you ever looked at them in the zoo? I mean, really looked at them? That's where our Chinaman succeeded. By God, he's brought it off completely. This poor old ape thinks there's something beyond life, and he's sad or angry because he can't get at it. That picture ought to be in the British Museum with the label Civilization Caught Out.
Well, it won't be. It'll be here, labelled the White Monkey.
Same thing.
Cynicism gets you nowhere. Now, if you'd said modernity caught out...
I do, sir. But why be narrow? You don't seriously suppose that this age is worse than any other?
Oh, don't I? In my view, the world reached its highest point in the 80s. It'll never reach it again.
I say, that's most frightfully interesting. Well, I was too young to remember, but I suppose you all believed in God and drove about in diligences.
Diligences? We drove out in a barouche or a Victoria or a hansom. Now, I'll tell you something about those days. When I was a youngster in Switzerland with my family, my sister Winifred ate some black cherries. She'd only eaten a few and she discovered they were full of maggots.
Yeah.
A young English climber out there, seeing that she was upset, he ate the whole lot, about 2 pounds. Maggots, stones and all. Just to show her. Well, that's the sort of chaps they were.
Well, you must have been completely gone on your sister.
Not particularly. I never saw him again. His name was Powley. He wore red side whiskers.
You invented him, Dad, whiskers and all.
I never invent anything.
Shades of Weeder and G.A. Henty. Fleur, I must skedaddle. But look, can I borrow your peak tomorrow afternoon just for an hour or two?
Yes, of course. Why?
Oh, I've found a topping little model. At least Michael has. He sent her to me.
Michael did?
Yes. But she can't smile. Well, she can. And when she does, it's like sunlight on an Italian valley. But if you ask her to, she can't. I thought Ting might help.
Oh, well, may I come and see?
Yeah, please do. Bring him along tomorrow afternoon, about 3. Well, so long, sir. Thrilled to meet you.
Thrilled? Fella's a mountebank.
Oh, Dad, a very serious painter.
Well, what does he want to talk like that for?
Ignore it, Ducky. Everybody talks like that nowadays.
I don't.
No, thank goodness. Oh, look, would you mind if we leave you after dinner? We've accepted for a party. Fancy dress. We've all got to
Fancy-
get dressed as butterflies. Ridiculous, really.
Don't you ever want to grow up?
It's the Greys Marjorie Ferris gave a party with everybody dressed as babies. It was killing.
Mr. Gradman is here, ma'am.
Ah, thanks,
Oh.
Coca.
See Mr. Forsythe.
Ask him to come in. I'll leave you to it,
Okay.
Ducky. See you later. Hello, Mr. Gradman. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Miss Fleur.
Evening, Gladman. Won't you, sit down?
Oh, thanks, Mr. Soames. This French news, it's not nice, is it?
No, far from it.
They're a hasty lot. I remember your father coming into the office. That morning they declared the Franco-Prussian War. He was quite in his prime then. Hardly more than 60, I'd say.
He's 59.
Yes, I recall his very words. There, he said, I told them how it would be. That's what he said. And here they are, at it again.
Yes, as you say.
The
Now,
fact is, they're cat and dog. Always were, always will be.
Quite. Now, what did you want to see me for?
Well, I took the liberty of telephoning Mr. Soames because, well, I felt somehow you'd want to see the young man for yourself.
What young
And I
man?
thought, name of Butterfield from the PPRS. He called round at the office to see you. Wouldn't tell me his business. Confidential, he said. Had to talk to you privately. Well, I nearly sent him packing, but there was something about him. Well, I felt it might be urgent, so I've brought him along.
Here?
Yes, he's waiting in the hall.
But is it as important as all that?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Soames, but he seems a nice, clean young fella. I was favourably impressed.
Yes, so it appears. Oh, very well, I'll see you. Don't you go, Gradman. I want you to hear what he has to say.
Yes, yes, very good, sir. Will you come this way, young man? This is Mr. Butterfield and Mr. Forsythe.
How do you do, sir?
Yeah. I understand you want to see me.
Yes, sir. Alone, if I might, sir.
It's all right, Mr. Gradman. Here's my right-hand man. You can state your business in front of him. You work at the PPRS?
Yes, sir, I'm in the office. The fact is, sir, that an accident has put some information in my hands and, well, I'm not easy in my mind. Knowing you to be a solicitor, I prefer to come to you rather than go straight to the chairman. As a lawyer, sir, would you tell me, is my first duty to the society being in their employ?
Certainly.
I don't like this, sir, and I hope you'll understand that I'm not here for any personal motive. It's just that I felt I ought to.
What's this all about, Butterfield?
It's the insurance of our German business, sir.
Oh?
Yes, it's a very serious matter, and I don't know how it'll affect me, but... Well, the fact of the matter is that this morning I overheard a private conversation.
Oh?
Yes, sir. I quite understand your tone, but the very first words did it. After hearing them, I simply couldn't make myself known. I hope you'll agree, sir.
Yes, I hope so, too. Who were the speakers?
Mr. Elderson, sir, and a man called Smith. Though by his accent, I fancy his name's a bit more foreign. He's done most of the agenting for the German business.
What were the words?
Well, sir, the manager was speaking, and then this man Smith said, "Quite so, Mr. Elderson, but we haven't paid you a commission on this business for nothing. If the mark goes absolutely fucked, you'll have to see that your society makes it good for us."
Well, yeah.
Yes, it was a knockout.
Where were you?
I was in the lobby, sir, between the manager's office and the boardroom. I'd just come from the boardroom, having sorted some papers out, and the manager's door was open an inch or so. Of course, I know the voices well.
And what then?
Well, sir, Mr. Elderson said, "Shh, don't talk like that," and I slipped back into the boardroom. I'd had more than enough by then, I could promise you, sir.
Now, be very careful what you say. This is most serious.
Yes, I know, sir.
Have you?
And if I'd have consulted my own interest, I wouldn't have come here. I'm not a sneak.
Have you ever had any trouble at the office before?
No, sir. You can make inquiries. Mr. Elderson's nothing against me, and I have nothing against him.
I should realize, of course, that that could be checked.
Yes, sir.
Do you think it's possible they became aware that you were there?
I don't think so, sir.
You don't think so?
I'm sure of it.
Very well. Now, are you prepared to repeat this, if necessary, to the board?
Well, sir, I'd much rather have held my tongue, but... Well, if you decide it's got to be taken up, yes, I suppose I must go through with it now. The trouble is...
Yes?
Well, it may not be true. Only if it isn't, why didn't Mr. Elderson say, "You ruddy liar"?